Hey guys, welcome back to my house. So today we're going to talk about seasons because that's what you guys have been working on, and I wanted to give you a demonstration, something we would have done in the classroom, but for obvious reasons we can't. So, a couple of key things. First and foremost, by now you know that Earth is always tilted. It's always tilted at a 23-degree angle. So as we move around our orbit in just a few minutes, I want you guys to notice how this is always going to be tilted in the same direction, towards Polaris, aka the North Star. So on our journey, although the position of Earth around the sun may change, that axis is always going to be tilted towards the North Star or Polaris, okay? So let's get started. 2 weeks ago was March 20th. That was what we call the March or the spring equinox. Couple of fun facts about the equinox. Equa means equal, nox means night. So at an equinox, we're having equal nighttime hours and equal daytime hours, or approximately 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night. On Earth, the March equinox for the northern hemisphere is the beginning of spring. Happy spring. If you're in the southern hemisphere, which is below the equator, then they just started fall or autumn, okay? So what I want you guys to do is notice the globe still tilted towards Polaris, but if you notice where the equator is, here's the northern hemisphere, here's the southern hemisphere. They're getting approximately equal amounts of light, hence the term equinox, okay? So we're gonna continue our journey. The next season will be summer. Again, notice, tilt, never changed, still tilted towards Polaris, okay? So for summer, it's not an equinox, it's what's called a solstice. And so solstice means that you're gonna have the maximum amount of daylight hours or the minimum amount of daylight hours, meaning really long days or really long or short nights for us in the summertime, but really long nights if it's winter in the southern hemisphere. So again, solstice, maximum sunlight or minimum sunlight. Let's take a look. We are here. Here's Florida, a little purple spot on the globe. If you notice, we're still tilted towards Polaris, but look at the amount of sunlight. Everything above the northern part of the equator or in the northern hemisphere is getting direct sunlight or maximum amount of sunlight hours. Even where the pole is, we could have times of the day where the sun never sets and it's always light. The southern hemisphere, notice how it is actually tilted away and it's not getting that direct sunlight. So it has less hours of sunlight, meaning it's going to be colder and they are starting winter. So our June solstice for the northern hemisphere, which is above the equator, we're starting summer. This happens usually right around June 21st or 22nd. And in the southern hemisphere, they're starting winter. Again, solstice means you're going to have the maximum amount of daylight hours or the minimum amount of daylight hours. After June, watch your step, we're going to have the autumn equinox. So we're back to an equinox, or the September or fall equinox. So in the northern hemisphere, let's find Florida again. We're right here, okay? We're back to where we're getting about 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of nighttime. But notice again how that equator is kind of smack in the center this time, and it's getting equal sunlight and equal sunlight on both parts of the hemisphere, or roughly 12 hours in both locations. So again, equinox means equal days and equal nighttime hours, and roughly about the same on both hemispheres. That happens usually around September 22nd or 23rd. Our days are going to continue to get shorter as we move around. Notice again, the one thing I have not changed is that direction of the axis. It's always been tilted towards Polaris, or the North Star. So now we're in December. Here's Florida. Here's the equator. Here's everything below the equator, or the southern hemisphere. So notice how everything above the northern hemisphere, there's a lot more darkness. You're not getting that direct sunlight anymore. That's going to be the start of winter for us. That happens right around December 21st or 22nd. And again, for winter, the northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun. The southern hemisphere is tilted toward the sun, meaning they're about to start summer. The tilt never changed. It's always tilted towards Polaris. Anytime the northern hemisphere is tilted away, it's going to be less hours of daylight. It's going to be colder. And therefore, in this position, we're starting winter. Okay? So there's your seasons. You guys did a great job in your comments and your discussions. I'm proud of you. Keep up the good work through this process, and we'll see you next week. Bye.